If you want to be a highly effective CEO, then what you don't do is just as important as what you do. After all, every hour that you spend in busy work, reactive problems, or tasks that shouldn't be taking up your attention is an hour that could have been put into growing the business or furthering your vision. That's why in this video, I'm going to share with you 2 tasks that you should do on a regular basis that are going to help you take back control of your days, hone your focus, and maximize your time. So the way to approach this is at regular increments, whether you do this once a month, every 2 weeks, or even every week. Sit down and create a list of everything that you did. Really going back and looking at what meetings did you get pulled into, what tasks did you focus on, what events did you attend, everything that took up your time. And then go through it point by point and be brutally honest with yourself. Was this a good use of your time? Did getting this done add to your bottom line, further your business, or was this simply busy work that didn't actually amount to anything? When you go through that list, I want you to take all the regular actions that you're doing on a regular basis that you determine aren't a good use of your focus, and I want you to create what I call a not to do list. These are all of the tasks that you're committed that going forward, you're no longer going to allow to take up any of your time. Now, the reason why you need to do this at regular intervals is as your business grows, with every new level of success comes a new level of problems, a new level of demands, and a new level of responsibilities, which is why aspects of your role right now may change over time. But if you don't take the time to reflect on what you're doing, you can continue doing them on autopilot without even thinking about it. I'll give you a perfect example of this. When I went through this exercise with one of my private clients, one of the items on the list was networking events, because that was how initially they'd grown their business. Yet over the last few years, they pivoted what they were doing. They were serving a very different market, and they'd also automated most of their lead gen, meaning that for the customers that were going for, networking events was actually largely ineffective. Yet he was still going to the events because he hadn't stopped to ask himself whether he actually should. And to make matters worse, he hated getting up in the morning to drag himself out of bed to go to those meetings. And not only that, he found on the days that he did, he was tired and less focused because it was taking him away and sapping his energy that could have been put into something else. So this is why it's so important you really reflect on where you're putting your energy, your time, and your focus. Because like I said at the beginning, if you want to be a highly effective CEO, then what you don't do is just as important as what you do. So you've created your list, you've got your not to do list, and you know that all of the tasks left on there needed to get done. But the bigger question now to go through and ask yourself is, did this need to be done by you? As in, did this play into your zone of genius, or could this have been delegated or handed off to someone else? Again, the reason why you're reflecting on this now is you want to bring this into your awareness so that you can create a list of items that going forward, when they need to be repeated, you're going to hand them off and get someone else to take responsibility. This is all about freeing you up so that you can put the time and bandwidth into the tasks that can only be done by you and are going to drive the business forward. I'll give you a perfect example of this. A few months ago, I got on a coaching call with one of my clients and he was notably stressed. And I asked him what was going on. And he started telling me about how he was worrying about trying to book flights and arrange a car and putting together his itinerary for a business trip the following week. Now, sorting all of this would probably take about an hour. But the problem was, because he was stressing over it and worrying about it, he was losing hours of lost focus and bandwidth, which was a huge issue because a couple of days from that session, he had a huge pitch that he needed to be preparing for, meaning his time and focus should have been going into that. To make matters worse, a few months prior to this, he'd actually hired a PA to take over responsibilities like this. He just hadn't thought to hand it over. The reason being was this was part of his role when he was first growing the business. Yet now as he had an expanding team, he needed to hand these things off. He just hadn't taken the time to stop and really think about what he needed to let go. So while these tasks may seem simple, they're highly effective because they force you to stop and think about what you're actually doing and where you're spending your time. which is an activity that very few overwhelmed CEOs actually stop to do. The reason being is they're so stuck in the trenches and stretched thin by what needs to get done that their focus is just trying to get through the week. Whereas as a result, they get so pulled into busy work or reactive problems that they don't get the time or bandwidth to really focus on the tasks that are going to help them get to the next level. On a side note, going through this exercise can be a little bit challenging on your own, especially since we all get that tunnel vision over what we're doing, and you can also get emotionally attached to certain tasks. That's why it can really help to have someone external who's detached to sit down with you and go through this to really figure out where are you spending your time, what should you be focusing on, and from there create a plan to delegate or outsource everything that you shouldn't be doing. But regardless, I really recommend adding these tasks into your routine on a regular basis. Yes, I know that this is going to take a little bit of time, but by putting your focus into this, it's going to free you up to actually prioritize what's going to drive your business forward. And as a result, it's going to put you back in control of your days so that you can maximize your time. To take this a step further, you can also repeat these exercises on your current to-do list. List out everything you need to get done and go through it point by point, doing exactly the same thing. Brutally ask yourself, is this actually important? As in, getting this done, will it add to your revenue, bottom line, and drive the business forward? And if not, remove it. Remember, what you don't do is just as important as what you do. And if it is important, ask yourself, does this need to be done by you, or can you delegate it or hand it off to someone else? By doing this exercise regularly, you should be able to free up a lot of tasks on your to-do list. In fact, I did this with a client recently, and we managed to remove over 50% from his list of what needed to get done. Not only did that take a huge weight and pressure off him because he didn't have this overwhelming list of what he needed to do, it also mentally freed him up to know exactly what he needed to focus on, because from there we could then take that clarity and properly put it into planning out his days to make the best use of his time. So if you want to take this a step further, I've put together a free training where I'm going to show you the exact planning and productivity process that I use with my private clients. In here, I'm going to show you everything from how to plan your months, weeks, and days to maximize your time. I'm going to show you how to structure what you need to get done to transform what you had done in a day. I'll also share with you daily reflection questions to help you gain clarity and set your intention for exactly what you need to get done. And I'll even break down the secret to creating a life of freedom on your terms so that you can find balance and prioritize the things that matter most. So you can watch that training for free and on demand using the button below this video. So I hope that you enjoyed these exercises. Like I said, I really recommend that you include these into your planning and scheduling on a regular basis, because once you get this clarity, you'll be able to transform what you get done in a day. So any questions, let me know down in the comments below. I've been Byron Morrison. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.